all about. So I'm hoping today I can network with other people who are interested in the similar things as me. I think there are going to be a lot of entrepreneurs here. I'm hoping I see a lot more social entrepreneurs, just so that, I learn a thing or two from you. I am also an upcoming host and facilitator, so if you do have events, please remember me. I do like to do this as a part-time thing on top of my research. So my name is Josephine Chikwana, and I will be your host today. So I hope you enjoy. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask some of our volunteers that will be walking around, and just make yourself comfortable. Today is the day to just network and enjoy and have fun. So the first thing I'd like you guys to do is I want you to know the people on your table. So if you can, real quickly, find just one word that complements your neighbor. I'm going to go around choosing people at random to tell me the one word that you think. Like when you see that person, what do you think? Just one word, but it has to be something nice, something very nice and polite. I know it's hard. So please do this. I'm giving you 30 seconds. We are looking at your hairline. Love to see the laps going on around. Right, I'm going to start here. What is the one word? This is a surprise. Okay.
One word.
Just one word to describe her.
Well, apart from Rebecca, which is her name, fashion.
Oh, fashion. Okay, lovely. I'm loving the creativity and uniqueness of the words. Right, over here.
You both have lovely smiles.
Oh, lovely. So smiles. I'm loving that. Thank you. And over here, an executive officer. Executive officer. So for real, that's where you went. Okay, thank you. And then over here, what word do you have? Sociable. Sociable. Oh, right. Okay. I hope to, to socialize with you afterwards. Okay. And before I miss a table, I almost miss you. Sociable. That one's already been said. Come on. Think deeper.
Polite.
Polite. Okay. Well, lovely to meet you, Mr. Polite. Right, okay. Oh, did you manage to interact with anyone?
Not yet.
Not yet, okay. I think I'll get back to you later. What word?
Oh, elegant.
Elegant, okay, elegant. I'm loving the words and the compliments going around. As a networking event, I love that people can think of all the nice things to say to each other. Because we don't want any negative energy, and I can see that already in this room we have a lot of positive energy. Now the next thing I want us to do real quick is to test your African knowledge. So if you remember, today is the first ever Proof Accelerator African Business Poll. Keyword is African. So what I want us to do is to just test how many people actually know the continent Africa, or other people think it's a country. So, already, if you are thinking it's a country, it is not a country, it's a whole continent with so many countries, so many different personalities, and uniqueness to it. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of questions, but what I'd like to do is I'd like to, again, pick people at random to come here in the front or stand, and I'll test your African general knowledge. Yes. Don't worry, it's going to be easy things, okay? So I want, do you want me to start with volunteers? Who's itching to come up in the front? You want to come in the front? Okay, you can be my first volunteer. Okay? Can I have you, lovely ma'am, to come to the front?
Is this the front or the rear?
Just there. That's the front, thank you. Right? And you're alone. Do you mind coming to the front too? Thank you.
I'm good, Okay, okay, nice to meet you.
Right, you have been selected to come to the front for the African quiz trivia. You are coming to the front. You haven't already failed, you don't even know the questions yet. Come on, please. It's all good fun. It's all good fun. Where did you get this from? It's definitely African, so please come to the front. Yay, okay. So can we give a round of applause for the few lucky people who will get to tell us their African knowledge today? Okay, so I'd just like you guys to quickly introduce yourselves, just your names, okay, if that's all right?
David.
David.
Simu.
Simu.
Village headmaster.
Village headmaster.
Bola.
Bola.
Abby.
Abby. Okay, great. So these are our contestants today. I'm calling them contestants because it's going to be competitive. I want to see who actually knows Africa really well. Okay, so the first question that I have for you is, Africa, oh right, okay, so what's going to happen is if you can, I guess, raise your hand to ensure that you're the first one to be picked, and I'll give you the microphone. So Africa has had a lot of female presidents, okay? Can you name 2 female presidents?
I can name one.
I need 2.
Okay.
2 on the spot. 2 female presidents.
That's great. That's not trivia.
Is it not true?
That's not trivia.
Is it not trivia? No, it is.
That's master's.
Do you want to pick somebody else to help you? No, just...
Can we phone a friend?
Okay, you want to phone a friend. Okay, so you already had one. Do you want to tell me the one that you had?
Yes, the lady was president of Liberia, I think, and it's Johnson Sirleaf. Ellen. Okay, Ellen Johnson.
Okay. Okay, that's good. That's good. Can we find another one?
There was one who was president of Malawi.
Oh, I'm from Malawi.
Ah!
Yes.
So am I. No, okay. I was deputy chair of the Malawi UK business group for a short while.
Okay, and the president, the female president was?
I just know that there was.
Oh, gosh, do we have any other Malawians in the room to help him? Phone a friend. That's what's happening here. You're getting closer, you said?
Madam Banda?
Yes, Madam Banda. So that was Joyce Banda. That was the president, yes, female president in Malawi. Okay, so I can see the points here. They've been distributed, so that's fine. Now, what is the highest mountain in Africa?
Of course, easy.
No, I think I should disqualify you. You know too much. You are eager to be here. Okay, I'll give you.
Kilimanjaro.
Oh,
Kilimanjaro.
okay, Kilimanjaro, thank you. All right, and then what is the longest river in Africa?
Some rivers in Africa. Some rivers in Africa.
No, before.
Benue, Congo, Orange, Limpopo, Zambezi.
Right, you know too much. You know a little too much, exactly. I think you're ready. This is an unfair game.
Okay.
Do you mind if I ask you to sit down?
Why not?
Thank you. I'd like to just...
Did you expel him?
I'd like to pick on the last 3 contestants who are already here. I'll ask you a really, really, really simple question, and this is the last question. What African country won the FIFA World Cup for the first time in 2010?
FIFA World Cup.
You don't know how to say anything.
World Cup in 2010.
Oh, no, the question is wrong. The question is wrong.
I know the answer.
Do you know the answer?
Yes. The question is wrong.
Yes, this was a trick question, but you heard that from the audience. So you told the answer. There was no African country that won the FIFA World Cup. But thank you all for still coming. I'm sorry that some of you were not able to answer any of the questions, but there will be a prize towards the end for participating, and can we please give them a round of applause? That was lovely. It was lovely to see that people do know quite a fair amount of African knowledge. I do think...
Sorry, point of correction.
Yes.
Do you remember Kanawampo? So there was a FIFA Junior World Cup that Nigeria won.
No.
Nigeria won the FIFA.
No, we have under 16. We won under 16.
That big cup was Olympic.
No. Under 17. Under 16. Under 17 World Cup.
Okay, there's a battle going on here, yes? So I'm about to be corrected, and you're about to be corrected because the question was not wrong then.
Wait, what's wrong? You said the FIFA World Cup, not under
2010,
17.
exactly. That was quite precise. Right, okay, so we're going to be moving on with the program. This is a 3-hour-long program, so whilst we're here, I'd really like you to take the opportunity to really try and network. The other thing that I'd really like you guys to do is, I think a lot of us are on LinkedIn, Twitter, you know, all these different social media pages. I want us to make noise about this event. We need people to know that we were here. How else will they know that we were here? And what we've decided to do is to come up with a very lovely hashtag. So if when you're posting a picture, I like pictures by the way, so please feel free to take as many pictures as you want of me. I want to, you know, update my profile, so that would be really nice if you could take pictures of me. But yes, as you take pictures of me or the event or yourselves, if you can please put the hashtag ABB24, because like I say, this is the first African Business Ball by Proof Accelerator. We're here to celebrate the Global Entrepreneurship Week, which is happening at the same time, and it will happen each year around this time because we're trying to make sure that we're emphasizing what we're here for, which is entrepreneurship, okay? So we're here to showcase music, good food, which I can see a couple of you have started doing, clothes and fashion, and as you can see, we have a bit of a runway here. We will have a fashion show later on today. So if now you could give me the opportunity to invite Thelma to come into the front. Now, I'm going to give you a bit of a background as she's coming through. So a lot of you might know her, or if you don't know her, today you're about to know her. She is a fellow social entrepreneur, like I said. She's a gender lens impact investor and a philanthropy advisor. She is a phenomenal woman. I tell you, when she comes here, you will know what I mean by phenomenal. So if we can please give a round of applause for Miss Thelma Ekio-Solanke, please.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Thank you so much for coming. It's a working event for me, so I'm everywhere. Thank you so much, Josephine. Josephine is a star. We both go to Cranford University, and I told her that the PhD should be on the side. She's a better host. I don't know what her parents will say about that. But it's really my pleasure to welcome all of you to this first African Business Ball. It's celebrating Global Entrepreneurship Week. The first thing I need to say is that one of you in this room has to set up an African venue in Milton Keynes. Can we clap for that, please? Yes. And I'm looking at Jason, because Jason is a fixer-upper. He fixes everything. Let me tell you why. So I'll start with the story. We got this venue, we're really happy about it. It was on a hill. We're all very excited. And then we said we're bringing in African food. And they're like, nope, you have to have shepherd's pie. I don't know about you, but if I had invited you to have shepherd's pie tonight, I don't know if you would have been happy. But then we said, okay, we can have shepherd's pie. Can we have African desserts? I think the lights are too bright. Can we have African dessert? They're like, no. So if you remember, those of you who first got the first save the date, we first gave you a save the date of the 22nd, if you remember, and we had to change it because we lost that venue. And the business entrepreneur in me said, we need an African venue. Agreed?
Yes.
Because next year we're going to be having this event at an African venue. Amen? Yes, yes, that is a prayer. Actually, because I think we get lost in not introducing our culture to the UK. We have a vibrant culture, a very rich culture, and we decided that we wanted to have an event as Proof Accelerator that displayed both African entrepreneurial talent, but also African fashion, African food, which is the most delicious in the world. I see Zimu looking at me. It's better than Chinese food, too, Zimu. You know, and all the things that we believe will help change. Do I have your attention? All the things that I believe will help change the perception that people have of us Africans in this country. My background is in entrepreneurship and impact investing. I've done that for over 25 years, all across the world, mostly in Africa, where I was part of setting up a really successful accelerator. And when I moved to the UK because of family, it really was a problem because I was like, I can't go and look for a job. What am I going to do? And I tell everybody, God told me, set up what you set up in Nigeria here. The issues are the same. And that was how Proof Accelerator was born. And I went to people that I've had the privilege of meeting and forming a relationship with to talk to them about the idea. And lo and behold, they were also thinking of the same thing. And I just want to acknowledge them in this room. Kan Ngozi, Ladi, who is Dimeji to many people, and Emmanuel. Can you stand up? And many people are standing, but I don't want you to miss them. Can you stand up and... if you've ever run anything, you will know that it's always a privilege when people are prepared to put their names and their resources behind you. And that's what these individuals have done. They've agreed to put their names and their resources behind Proof Accelerator. The idea behind Proof Accelerator is simple but very complex. We want to create a community where we provide financial support as well as mentoring and sorry, can we be together? You won't hear me give this spiel. I promise you, you'll dance later. We want to be able to provide financial support as well as non-financial support such as mentoring, networking to African entrepreneurs. And that's what we've used a fun evening to do a serious thing. We want to be able to, Global Entrepreneurship Week is about showcasing entrepreneurship. And this is Global Entrepreneurship Week, so we said let's showcase African entrepreneurs. We want to be able to make the case. That's why it's called Proof Accelerator. We are making the case that there's ingenuity in the African community and that it requires finance. Since we set up in June, we've been very, very busy. We've been organizing master classes. We've been doing that for free. So if you miss the master classes, the free offers are over. From January, we start charging. But we've had incredible responses. Well, one of the things that has happened to validate our work is also people who have money saying to us, we're very interested in collaborating. But they threw out a challenge. Can you present businesses that are financially viable? It's not, we can't say that the African community needs financing emotionally. We have to make the business case. And when I talk to a lot of African entrepreneurs, I see that what they have is the raw idea, but they do not have the encasing of that idea that can attract financing. And that is what Proof Accelerator is about. I believe that we stand the opportunity to do two things in the UK if we do this correctly. One is create a community of well-funded businesses, but also change a perception that people have of Africans who come to the UK for whatever reason, because there's a lot of negativity around what we do. And I pulled together people that I have a trusted relationship with who are successful in everything that they do, and they've agreed to be advisors to Proof Accelerator. So if you're an advisor, please stand up. Let's acknowledge you. If you're a Proof Accelerator advisor. All of them said yes on the first ask. Jason is an accomplished, he will talk, I don't want to give the, he's going to speak. So tonight we thought, why don't you hear from people who are successful in the UK, who are Africans, Some of them are investors, how they became successful, but also what they think is the importance of Proof Accelerator. Then we also believe that you should hear from African entrepreneurs themselves. And this evening you're going to listen to 3 businesses. We had, I think, about 7 who wanted to present, but because of the time, we've selected 3. In the selection of the 3, we encountered another problem. Most of the entrepreneurs that are ready in the UK to put their businesses forward are predominantly men. Women entrepreneurs, women startups, for whatever reason. Either they are afraid of equity, giving equity in their business, or they're just not ready for prime time. And for me, I think that's a tragedy because I think women entrepreneurs introduce another dimension. And so in January, you'll see us put out a call for female entrepreneurs and for an accelerator. And we hope that you do encourage the women you know or yourselves to apply. I want to end by saying, I was in the US at an investor meeting, and just out of a simple conversation, Proof Accelerator, we got our first grant. Can you give us a round of applause? And the grant is simply to support African entrepreneurs to do the things that you're going to listen to tonight. So please enjoy the incredible, I promise you the food is incredible. And when it's time to dance, please dance. We have a fashion show for you. Another entrepreneur who's new to the UK trying to make a name for herself. I won't point to her, I'm avoiding looking at her because I want you to meet her when she does the fashion show. But this is what this night is about. And stop me as we network, tell me how we can work with you, tell me how we can do things better. And I'm sure that by the time we come next year in our African venue, there will not be room for us. Thank you so much.
I told you she's from Baltimore. I hope you all think that now. And we're all lucky that now she's in our network. So get networking, make sure you get her to know your name, because next time you could be part of Proof Accelerator. So right now, what I'm hoping to do is to allow a couple of people to come and say a few words. So for 5 minutes, each person, strictly 5 minutes if you can you please come up here and share a few words to everyone that's here. So the first person that I'm going to call upon is Honorable Abike Dabiri. Not here, okay. Okay. Then can I please have Mohammed? Can I please have Mohammed come? Okay, right. What I will do is I will first give the microphone to Jason Sinclair to come up. Now, Jason is going to come and introduce himself, but he is another successful person who he wants to network with, and let's give it a round of applause for Jason.
Good evening, everybody. So I'm African by way of the Caribbean, so I'll disclose that. But my grandma was Nigerian, and my granddad was Scottish, and they ended up in Jamaica. Go figure. So today is really important. I think I was an avid supporter as soon as Thelma gave me the idea of the Proof Accelerator, because accelerators aren't new. The concept of accelerators, business accelerators, has been going on for several years now. But having an accelerator that's so specific for our diaspora is new. That's something that's really, really specific and needed, because we understand all of the challenges that are before our diaspora when they're coming to the UK and they're trying to set up a business. There's lots of loopholes, there's lots of things to understand, and the whole point of accelerating is to help people to do something quicker. And that's what this is all about. So with all of the different members that are supporting this Proof Accelerator, the idea is to help every entrepreneur to get where they need to get much, much quicker. And that's the thing. And success when we think of being successful, very, very rarely is that something that somebody can achieve by themselves. We always have a team around us. There's lots of successful people in the room, but we've all got teams. We've all got people that we've lent on. We've all had mentors. We've all had advisors. There's lots of different people that have played a part and a role in us getting to where we've reached today. And again, that's something else. I mean, Thelma mentioned network, and that's massively important, and that's what this event, that's what the Proof Accelerator will also provide you, is a network of people who understand your challenges, but people who've already gone through them. Somebody else in the room that will be speaking is somebody else that's also had challenges, but has made it to a top position in their profession. It's not a straightforward journey, and I'm sure they'll share that. But remembering that success comes from having many hands and many people involved in that is massively important. And that's what I feel this will provide. So I'm hoping that I'll be at the next event next year in our African venue with a lot of people who've already gone through that, from January, have seen themselves accelerating, seen their business get to where they wanted to get to in a really, really good time. And key understanding and use of that network has allowed them to flourish, and that's what this is all about.
Amazing talk. Thank you, Jason. Okay, and now I really like how brief you were. I'm hoping everybody else who's coming up will equally be brief. It's not about how long or how many words you say. As a researcher, they're always talking about be precise, be very, very concise in getting your message out there. And even as an entrepreneur, you want to try to get your investors, who might be in this room, to pick up on your idea in very few words. And we can learn from Jason. That's exactly what he did. Right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to Darren. So if Darren can come up and share a message to us. So Darren Johnson, please. Round of applause for Darren. Thank you.
I'm not be able to do that. To you all. But just quickly about myself. So my name is Darren Johnson. My day job, I'm a global head, global chief operating officer for a large investment management firm based in London. We are called Impacts Asset Management. We have about $50 billion under management in the UK, but we have offices around the world. We invest in securities involved with the transition to a more sustainable economy. So some of the language in here earlier on definitely resonates. We've been doing that for around 25 years. Anyway, my journey, what I tend to do to motivate myself, to inspire myself, I love reading quotes, and I love that. I have like a whole list of quotes that helps me each day. And I'm going to read this to you because it kind of has inspired me, and I think you, with some entrepreneurs in here, will probably understand this or certainly will take some things from this. So, and most of you, if you watch movies, you'll know where this has come from. But anyway, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fears is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. You playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were all meant to shine as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Now why I kind of talked about that is because it talks about human potential, it talks about self-empowerment, and how embracing our own capabilities can inspire us to do the same. So fast forwarding to my career. So when I started out, I was born in the UK. I was born to Ghanaian heritage, so two Ghanaian parents. My parents broke up when I was extremely young, so I was brought up by a single parent. I was brought up in a council estate in Clapham. We used to live on the top floor, and some of you may resonate with this. My mother was a psychiatric nurse. She did 3 jobs. She worked a morning job, an afternoon job, an evening job, and still found time to sleep. and she brought my sister and I up by herself. And she used to do, when I was 7, my sister was 9, she used to leave us alone and do the night duty in our house. And so when I talk about this, I always say to people, when I start, I say I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, and people say, why? You know, how can you say this given some of your modest and humble economic start in life? And I always say, well, listen, you know, the best thing about this was, you know, me and my sister having to look after ourselves and take ourselves to school and shower, wash and cook and everything else is amazing, because it's made me so independent. It's made me be able to look after myself. It's given me some fantastic life skills. It's also shown me resilience. And as I was growing up, when my mum used to do her night duty, she always used to ring us up and say, and just check we were going to bed. And I always used to pretend that I was going to bed. But actually I wasn't. What I was doing was I was watching a program on TV, and some of you may know it, some of you may not. But the program I was watching was called Family Ties, and it was there was a character called Michael J. Fox is the actor. The character was called Alex Heaton. He wanted to be wealthy. He wanted to be a stockbroker. He wanted to make money. And me as a young child watching him, I wanted to be him. I wanted to be wealthy. He was a Republican, a bit arrogant, very much a capitalist, and I just resonated with him, that actor. It doesn't sound great, but it pushed me and it showed me the career that I'm in now. If I didn't watch that program, I wouldn't be in a job and doing what I've done today. So just going, fast forwarding to my first job, and just telling you a little bit more about, because the way I was brought up, I had to have, and I always felt that I had to have an edge. I always felt that I came from a disadvantaged background. Now, as you know, African parents, particularly West African parents, talk about education all the time, right? So you can only be a lawyer, engineer, etc. For me, it was the same. But how I took my education, I took it a little bit differently. So my education wasn't necessarily about academics. I had good academics, but I chose not to go to university. I chose to go to work. I was so desperate to make money. I was so desperate to be wealthy. And I kind of felt that experience would be valued more than a degree. For me, that worked a treat. It didn't mean I didn't stop educating myself. I did educate myself. But actually what I did was I took professional qualifications. So I took qualifications commensurate with my career. So I took some accounting qualifications, ACCA, I did some investment qualifications, etc. And then I kind of grew from there. And for me to come from nothing to get into the investment management industry wasn't straightforward either. I applied for my first job. It was a management accounts assistant in an aviation company in London Bridge somewhere, which was amazing for me as a black guy, only black guy in the business. I am 18 years old. I'm in the city. Amazing. But then it wasn't what I wanted. I actually wanted to be in investment management. I wanted to be looking after stocks and shares and making that money. As naively as I thought, I was so naive when I was younger, I just thought I'm going to get in this industry and make loads of money. Anyway, when I got this job in this aviation company, I still, because I was in the city, I was still encountering a lot of people in the career that I actually wanted to have. And so one day I saw an advert and I thought, I'm going to apply. I don't care. I'm going to apply for this job in what I wanted to do. In applying, so back in my day we had Ask Jeeves. We didn't have Google. So I couldn't figure out, like at the time I really didn't know what equities, I didn't know although I wanted to be wealthy, I didn't really understand what the industry was about. So what I had to do was I applied for a job, and it's not going to be impressive to you now, but when I was younger, as I mentioned, I always knew that I had to have an edge, because I always knew that I came from a background that was somewhat disadvantaged, and I didn't get a degree. So when I was producing my CV, I started working actually when I was 13. I started working very early. And when I was doing my CV, I thought I had a lot to say. So my CV went over 3 pages, and typically, like now, your CV has to be 1 page. So I thought, okay, what do I do about this? So back then, I created some hyperlinks. I did a summary CV, had all the detail behind it, had some hyperlinks that allowed you to go into the detail, back to the summary, and I sent this CV out, and everyone I sent it to, I got an interview, because no one had done that before. And it was amazing for me. So I got this interview for this place. I obviously spoke well, they were impressed with me, but knew I knew nothing. So they asked me to go out and find out 3 things, and they'll give me a second interview. They said, go and find out what an equity is, go and find out what a fund administrator is, go and find out what a custodian is. And at this time, like I said, I had no idea. All my family, they're in the NHS typically, or minicab drivers, or none of them in the world that I wanted to be in. So there's no one I could actually ask and speak to. So what I did, I was at home, and again, the TV has a big impression on my life, but I was watching TV and I saw a commercial for Scottish Widows, and I just saw underneath Financial Services Organisation, or whatever it said. So I got the number. Back then we had to use directory inquiries to get numbers, and I got this number and I rang up Scottish Widows, and I told the lady that picked up the telephone, I'm doing a dissertation and I need to find out these 3 things. So this woman was amazing, and she transferred me literally all around Scottish Widows. I got all the answers, and then I thought to myself, you know what, when you go back to the second interview, you need to make sure it's inherent in you. You need to make sure that you don't read the answers out, as I read part of my speech to you, but you actually say it and like you know it. So I then had enough information to go to the library and literally study in the mirror and talk to myself. And I went to the interview. Within 10 minutes I got the job. And that was the start of my career. Now I always wanted to, as I say, I always understood that I have to give myself an edge. So I did so many things. I learned from so many people. I always used to, every time I had a meeting, I always used to ask people at the end of the meeting, what can I do for you? I've always done that, I continue to do that today. And why I do that is because it stands me out. And I genuinely want to help them. And if I can help them in any which way, it always pays back. I've always had that, it's always worked. Now I'm going to hurry up now. So I'm going to just conclude by saying that, look, I'm very lucky. I have a platform now. I've done a lot in my own industry to help black people, because we needed more black representation in my industry, particularly in front office and leadership roles. I think now there's a few more black COOs, but when I started out, I was obviously the first. I was a unicorn, right? Given my background, given my blackness, given my heritage, I was the only one for many, many, many years. And then luckily, we started something called Talk About Black. We started promoting black things. We could try to deal with all the kinks in the hosepipe to stop talent coming into our industry, and we were able to do that. So now now using that platform and all these other things that I've done, I'm very lucky to sit on the board of St. Mungo's. St. Mungo's is the largest homeless charity in the country. I sit on the investment board of Comet Relief. I sit on the board of Diversity Project. I sit on many boards. I sit on the board of a £2 billion fund. I've done so many things, and my background is what's made me able to do it, really. So I got to where I am, not in spite of my background, but because of it. And so all I'll say to all of you entrepreneurs, I'm also an angel investor, I should have mentioned that as well. I've invested in a number of businesses. I typically invest in diverse founders, meaning typically black, but I'm open, particularly black women. So I was really happy that you highlighted that issue with black women. But I invest. I want to make money, so it's not a charity. I'm investing because I want to make money, and I believe the talent can come from them. Anyway, I'm going to shout because I can see I'm being pressured. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was really an inspiring story to hear of your journey, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs here could say the same. So thank you so much, Darren Johnson. So next up, I'm going to call David Smith. So David came up here and impressed me because he knew something special to me, which is I'm from Malawi. And he's clearly very, truly African at heart. He's the chairman of the British African Business Alliance Limited, a diaspora business network focused on accelerating economic development in Africa. So, working from the UK, the African diaspora is well placed to create new links that bring technology, business opportunities, investments to the continent that will create jobs. So can we please have a round of applause for David?
Thank you so much for that. Well, I don't have to say anything anymore. No, thank you. And I'm delighted to be here. I'm delighted to be an advisor to Proof Accelerator. And while we've discussed acceleration this evening, we haven't discussed catalysts yet. And the 6 million Africans in the UK are all catalysts. They all represent different places, different communities, different cultures and attitudes. And yet, at their fingertips, on their doorsteps, they have access to huge amounts of investment, a huge range of technology. And when I was made an outlaw, because this happened, and it's probably happened to some of you as well, Boris said, don't go out, don't meet people. You try running a network where you're not allowed to go up and press the flesh and say, how are you? So I sat at home and I thought, what am I going to do? Because I can't get people together, which is what I enjoy doing. And I ended up on the World Bank data bank. And I started looking at where Africa is. And I've talked a lot over the last 15 years about where Africa should be, but I hadn't really concentrated on where Africa is. And I looked at Nigeria, and I found out that in 2020, GDP per head in Nigeria, the largest economy in Africa at the time, $2,100. Oh, I thought, that's lower than I was expecting. And then I went through all 54 countries, and I can successfully say that it's proven that Nigeria is top of the second division when you divide the 54 countries into 18s at 2,100. Burundi sits at the bottom of the third division at about $275 per head. And I thought, well, what are we doing here in the UK? And it was a little over 40,000 per head. Now, I'm not saying we all earn 40,000, but that's the environment that we live in. And USA, 64,000. And then I thought, what's going on in the rest of the world? And it was a little over 11,000. And it gave me a nice line, because communicating is about finding an idea and expressing it. Nigeria needs to grow by 5 times to become world average. Now I know that Nigeria is full of very talented, very positive, very practical people. But it was sobering for me to consider things on that basis. And I can joke about being top of the second division. But actually, when you look at the way people live and how people live, and say to yourself, that's okay, then there's something wrong. So what I'd like to say to all of you Proof Accelerators here today, supporting the team, developing the community, looking at how we can network together, I just want to tell you a very brief story, if I've got a couple of minutes, about what my boss said to me when I started this journey. I didn't know I was starting the journey at the time. He said, David, you're head of marketing, go out and meet Ugandans. Now, actually at the time I didn't know any Africans at all. So, which one is Uganda? How do you tell? Can you go up to someone and say, excuse me, are you Ugandan? I don't think you can. I did try and I've got fairly well slapped, I have to say. Then I thought about it and I went to the Ugandan High Commission and I said, do you have a Chamber of Commerce? They said no. So I want to talk to you about progress now. 15 years, 17 years on, does Uganda have a Chamber of Commerce in the UK? No. They might have a database of business leaders now, and there will be groups within that community. But does Nigeria have a Chamber of Commerce in the UK? No. Does Abia State? Does Zamfara? What I look for from Proof Accelerator is bringing people together. Breaking down the fragmentation, breaking down the barriers, the walls between the African community and I was going to say British, but I think I want to say UK community in terms of business. We need to make more sales in this country today. We need to be able to pay our nurses and our train drivers and the rubbish collectors and everybody else what they think they ought to be paid. And we can only do that if we sell more. And there's 1.3 billion people sitting just south of us, just behind us, just in front of us. And you guys are the catalysts. You guys are the leaders. And on that happy note, I'd like you to contemplate the evening. Because anyone who wants to do something that is going to drive a job, drive a business, drive an extra few $100s into each pocket on the continent, I would be very happy to be working with you. Thank you very much.
Such a powerful message. And I think that's what we're all trying to do, isn't it? We're trying to help the economies back home, help our families, help ourselves. So those were very interesting points and very true points that we need to be aware of. Make sure you network with him. Tell him your ideas like he said. And you never know, this could be your opportunity to take just an idea to the next level. So now I'm going to invite Ms. Thelma Ekio Solanke to come back here to now introduce a very special guest that we have amongst us. So Thelma.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Darren. That was really powerful. Can we give Darren a round of applause again? Of course, David, I've forgotten your Yoruba name. I know they gave you a Yoruba name. What is it?
I think Ayo they gave me.
Ayo, okay. So that is it. David goes to Nigeria more than me. But, you know, I'm really pleased. We have a special guest of honor here. And this is somebody who, there's a hat that I wear that I didn't talk about in Nigeria. I happen to chair the first ever office of philanthropy and impact investing, which is domiciled in the office of the vice president. I don't work for government. It's a private sector-led office. But during that in that role, I meet a lot of government people. And of course, I'd heard her name so many times. If you watch TV in Nigeria, you've heard her name. But to meet the human being and realize that for her, it's not just a front. She's actually passionate about the Nigerian diaspora. And Honorable Abike Dabiri has been a renowned journalist in Nigeria, which is a big deal, but also 3 times a member of the House of Representatives. Can we give her a round of applause? 3 times. And then she really got passionate about the Nigerian diaspora and lobbied the government to create, when women make the government create things like the first ever, there's a problem. So she created the Nigerian in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, which she is the chair and the CEO. And I've seen her in action. This is not a front. She's extremely passionate about the Nigerian diaspora. At one function, I told her, I said, "Sis, I'm doing something in the UK, my own thing." She said, "How come?" I know people tell you that, but you think, and lo and behold, here she is. So it's my pleasure to introduce our special guest of honor, Honorable Abike Dabiri.
Good evening, distinguished ladies and gentlemen in the room, and thank you for that introduction. I think she exaggerated, don't mind. But I didn't create the Diaspora Commission, but when I was in Parliament, I was chair of the House Committee on Diaspora, and it was like, diaspora what? What does it mean? And it was seen as a useless, not useless, not a juicy, you understand what I mean, in Parliament. But we took it up and realized that the diaspora is actually so huge, a lot of untapped potentials, and that's how we started the journey. And to God be the glory, a commission was created by an act of parliament, and I became the very first ever chair of the commission. And it's very challenging, but a privilege to serve. And by the way, David Ayo, like she said, has been to Nigeria even more than I have. And I think it's a very interesting conversation. And Mr. Darrell, I listened to, is it Darrell? Darrell. Okay, I listened to part of your speech, and indeed very inspirational. Those are stories we should tell to inspire others. And before I even say anything, I want to invite you to Nigeria next year, November 12th, 13th, for the Diaspora Investment Summit as our special guest of honor. And you will, it's not just a summit, you're going to listen to pitches, you're going to see people that are looking for investment. And David Smith talked about, well, he didn't put it that way, but there's a lot of poverty on the continent, we know, but that's not where we should be. You're going to see people, young, dynamic men and women who just need $10,000 to turn their business around. Very creative people. So I see that in you, and I'm inviting you. And I'm sure you will live fulfilled to know that you're not doing charity, you'll be investing in real businesses on the continent. And I want to invite all of you that are here that will be investing through Thelma. And I think you should all come for this summit on the continent of Africa. And I know you're Ghanaian, but you know, Nigeria jollof is better than Ghana jollof. David, no visa for you for Ayo, no visa for you again. Okay.
East Grinstead jollof, best in the world.
Okay, no competition. What did you say?
55% of the people in East Grinstead that are African happen to be Nigerian.
I see. So really, thank you, Thelma, for putting this together. I think these are conversations we should have. These are impactful decisions we should make. Because we're talking about, for me, the diaspora. But the Nigerian diaspora sent in over $90 billion in the last 5 years to Nigeria. So that's about, last year it was $22 billion. But you see, it has helped the economy, and you all know that. It goes to families for your survival. Oh, my mom is sick. Take care of your families and all that. But we're saying they can invest on the continent. Whether you're Nigerian or British or Ghanaian or Ugandan diaspora, you need to invest in the home, in your continent. As long as Africa remains where it is today, not where it should be, the world will continue to look down on every black person, wherever you are in the world. So the challenge today is, what can you do back home? And I don't really care where you go to, but on the continent of Africa. What can you do back home for all of you that have been privileged to be in this community? And now, at least for Nigeria, even Ghana, there's a platform. Before it was the issue of, who do I talk to? How do I go about it? We've sorted all that. You have the Diaspora Commission to talk to. You have the Diaspora Commission to be a bridge between you and whatever you want to do back home. And I think it's very important that as you all sit in this room, look back and think about where you're coming from. I've engaged with a lot of you. You were made in Nigeria. Your background is Nigeria. Even whether you're Ghanaian or Uganda, that's where you were born. That's the blood in you that's helping you to thrive. So let's look back and say, it's time to do something meaningful. Let's not pay lip service to the issue of what can you do. It doesn't matter whether you're white or black or whatever. There's so much we can do on the continent of Africa. And there's so much that we will do working with all of you. So Proof Accelerator, I think you should accelerate that. And make sure that by this time next year, we'll be talking about what you have done back home. We're talking about how you have impacted lives. Even if you're not investing, can you make a difference in somebody's life? There are so many talents back home on the continent of Africa. I was watching CNN today on the policy, something of these change makers. Half of the NFL, in fact, NFL in America is virtually called Nigeria Football League, because virtually so many Nigerians are in the Football League, and they all came from Nigeria. So again, we also have to challenge ourselves on the continent that what are we doing wrong? Why are we where David said we are, $2,100? And that is even worse off now, in terms of GDP. So what is the problem? How can we have everything? I can't live in the UK. I can't. Because of the weather. I won't survive it. So we have everything. We have good weather. We have the people, all of you in the room. We have the people, human resources, natural resources. So where are we where we should be? I know it's a question of leadership. We all have to join hands to ensure that African leaders give in the very best. We have to tackle corruption. There are many things that has to be done. The funds are meant to provide infrastructure, not to be stolen. You as the diaspora can channel, that agitation. It's a democracy. Hold your leaders accountable. It is there, but most importantly is also what you as a people can do back on the continent of Africa. And I'm challenging you today. It cost me a lot of money to buy my ticket to come here. It's very expensive. But I had to do it for 2 reasons. I only met Thelma not too long ago in the course of this job, and she's a very driven. I say a woman who is driven, who is more compassionate. More passionate. She's passionate and compassionate. So I said, listen, what can I do as a woman but support what you're doing? And I know that together we can achieve a whole lot of things. So don't let this be just a talk shop. Let's go back with commitments and determination that we're all going to work together and make a difference on the continent of Africa. And we have to be determined that we'll get to where we truly belong, the top of the mountain. And not where we are today. We can't be blessed with the very best in the world. In the UK here, if Nigerian doctors and nurses withdraw from the NHS, it will collapse. Yes. That's the truth. All over the world, as Africans, we are developing world economies. Why can't we develop our economies back in Africa? Flying down here and even going back, I see a lot of foreigners on the plane. Yes. There's something they're looking for. Yes. Indians are coming. Chinese are coming. Everybody's coming. Why not you? Nigerians, Africans in the diaspora. Why don't you come back home and see what you can do? And trust me when I say you can work with us. Trust me when I say we are the bridge. Trust me when I say it's going to happen. And recently we've been getting a lot of people in America say want to come to the continent. We've done our DNA. They want maybe the Trump effect is also there, but everybody wants to come back. But let's work together, my brothers and sisters. Ayo, David Smith, you've been on the front line directing this. It's about time that we talk about impact. It's about time that we talk about results. And I believe with the gathering in this hall, we'll achieve those results. It doesn't matter where you come from. As long as you're in this room, you're an accelerator. So let's accelerate development on the continent. We can do it together, and we're willing to work with you. Thank you very much for inviting me. And thank you.
Such an amazing talk to hear from a phenomenal woman as well. And to hear that she's made it out of her way to be here just goes to show you how amazing and powerful proof is about to be. Actually, already is. So if we have somebody like her who has cancelled what I can only imagine is a crazy busy schedule to be here, and she did say that she's paid a lot to be here. Sorry, where have you come from? Lagos. You've come all the way. Wow. Can we give a round of applause? That's just amazing. I just come from Memphis.
And my first time in Milton Keynes.
Oh, is this your first time? Wow. Okay. So you might have missed it, but we did say that next year we do want to host this at an African hall or event place. I don't know, venue. Yes, venue. That's the right word. Thank you, Jason. So some people here, or it could be yourself, to help us come up with a nice venue in Milton Keynes, so that next time we're not looking far and wide. We're going to people within this room to find an African venue so we can host more African, events. So on that note, I am going to be inviting our next speaker, and I know we've had a couple of speakers coming up, but we're nearly done with the beautiful speeches that people have to say, and then we'll be moving on to, like we said, some of the pitches that we have. So right now, I'd like to call on Ashaidu Joel, who's a counselor in Leicester. So she's traveled far as well to come here and be a part of today. So can you please give a round of applause for Ashaidu Joel.
Good evening, everybody. Can we do that again? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. I like that. I'm an introvert, but all of my roles require me to be an extrovert. So when I go anywhere and I extend a greeting, I kind of get to shock to the system when people are very low toned. So firstly, I want to say thank you very much to Mrs. Telma Akio-Sholanke. So it is, I'm smiling so much because we've kind of been online hobnobbing for a couple of months. So this is my first time meeting her in person. So it is heartwarming, and it is just so pleasant and just a blessing to see you in person and get to hear you. So thank you very much for the invitation. So I see a couple of my Leicester crowd there, so I'm going to introduce myself again. And if you people don't bring the roof down, everybody's getting council tax doubled. So I am Ashaidu Joel. I am a councillor from Leicester, so I represent I represent Hamilton, Humberston and Netherhall wards, and fortuitously, according to our most recent census, the parts of Leicester where we're seeing an influx of Africans, predominantly Nigerians, is the Hamilton area. It used to be the west of the city, Beaumont Lees. So there's a shifting in the spirit, and they're coming to the, so I think God is bringing them the right side of the city. But I just want to say it is such a pleasure to not just be here, but to be part of something that is long overdue. So my journey in the UK has been nearly 30 years. And in that time, so I'm an engineer by training. So any engineers in the house, please say hello. My husband thinks engineers are the most difficult people to deal with. I think they're just fantastic. But jokes aside, we have never been able to have a group that has harnessed or even drawn in the talent, the expertise, the experience of the Africans in the diaspora. So one of the other hats I wear is I chair, and for Ayo, I'm going to refer to you as Ayo. I think that's a fabulous name. So I chair the East Midlands Network for the African Business Chamber. So we can have a conversation after this. But in setting that up, it's been very difficult because to get people to buy into that group, there isn't, as Mrs. Akio said, there isn't the technical and sometimes the finesse in getting the job done. So the ideas are, they are a dime a dozen. There's so much of it. But when it comes to pulling it through, to getting the funds, to putting it out there, we always fall short. But if you look at every sector, the brains and the drivers behind the many successes are people like you and I in this room. So there's something about how we see ourselves when we are in spaces other than spaces dedicated to us. Because the desire to excel, to give beyond and above, kicks in so much so And when we come into spaces where there's people like you and I, we start to take systems, processes for granted, and we even take ourselves for granted. Now, from my dealings with Mrs. Akio, I know that she is one who is about, perfection par excellence, and she's a hard taskmaster, but a very loving taskmaster. So I absolutely love her because she says it without, any fluff. But she always says, in the end, there's always a jolly laughter. But you can tell that behind that laughter, there is a lot of accountability behind it. So I know that for anybody who is looking to invest with Proof Accelerator, and for anybody who is looking to be mentored, supported, enabled, and put out as an ambassador of Proof Accelerator, you will be getting the very best. You will not be getting a half-baked product. You'll be getting one that is truly, truly going to deliver to the highest of standards. So, Mrs. Akio, it is Mrs. Akio Sholanke. I'm going to default to, John Murray. So, coincidentally, she's from the part of the country that I'm from as well. Many surprises. So, I just want to say thank you so much for your vision, for your passion, for allowing yourself to be led and directed by God, because I know that it is only someone who has opened themselves up to the leading of the Holy Spirit who could have seen so far and be willing and able to give of themselves. And thank you to all of us that you inspire in ways that you don't yet quite know. And personally, I love you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. It's very lovely to hear from you. And it's just, I don't know, how did you get to be in your position? I want to be in that position. We should talk after this. I can only imagine the headaches that you go through, but it all comes, like what we're doing here, it all comes at a good price and good output and success from it. So thank you so much for all that you shared. Right. So now I'm going to move on to another speaker that we have. I mentioned her earlier, so maybe you guys will remember, but I called upon Sarah. So Sarah is going to come up, and she is Zimbabwean of heritage. She is the founder of My Destiny Incorporation, host of Authentic Conversations broadcasts, a successful counselor, conference speaker, and a successful mentor. She's passionate about helping people discover their purpose and talents. So entrepreneurs, she's here for you. So if you can give a good round of applause for Sarah.
Thank you for that.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening. Good evening.
Thank you for that good response. First of all, I want to thank our host, my dear friend, and to me a big sister, Mrs. Thelma Akio Sholanke. Thank you so much for the invitation to speak, and thank you for everything that you're doing. Gathering people is not an easy task, and gathering all these great minds is absolutely awesome. I apologize for coming late. I had a speaking engagement this morning in Derby. We live in Buckinghamshire in High Wycombe, so that was two hours there, 2 hours back. The roads have been ridiculous. Got home, my king was ready and waiting, and I changed. And we had to wear what worked for 5-minute turnaround. There was no time to find the African, so please forgive me for not wearing the right attire. I've been asked to speak about my experiences of building a successful business in the United Kingdom. We came to the United Kingdom in 1998 as young 21 and 22-year-olds with my king, Dr. Jamie Oliver Garande. We're now married 30 years, 4 kids in, and just a wonderful life by the grace of God. And one of the very first things we started to, as you come into a new land, you survey the land and you survey the territory, because you need to come in and understand how things work, the land that you're in, how the people think, how the people operate. And soon after that, we started our first business. And we've been in the business space ever since. And our experiences building successful businesses in the United Kingdom have hinged upon certain factors, which I'll touch on. So we're engaged in the property sector, health and social care, mining, gold, and advisory spaces in the United Kingdom, in Dubai, and in Zimbabwe, where we come from. So the few things I have found and we have found that have enabled us to build successful businesses in the United Kingdom. The first and foremost is you come in and you've got to have the right mindset. You come in, you spy out the land, you see what works, you see what doesn't work. But everything, I think, rises and falls upon your mindset. If you see yourself as a grasshopper, so shall you be 27 years later, 30 years later. But if you come in with a can-do mindset, I really believe that's the stuff that successes are built out of. So from the very beginning, we had to work upon our mindset, how we think and how we see ourselves. So we're coming in and we're foreigners, but we came in and had to learn how to learn to adapt and learn to operate in a foreign country and make it our home. The other thing that we did to build a successful business in the UK has been network. It's so important who you surround yourself with. Surrounding yourself with people who push you to think bigger and do better than your comfort zone. Come out of your comfort zone. Because if many of you think of it, a lot of our comfort zones are not that comfortable. And that's what drives some of us to then push and say, you know what, just my salary is not enough, or just this kind of lifestyle, or just this kind of postcode, or just this is not enough. And so that network and finding the right networks and finding ourselves within the right networks has been a great part of our successes. I always say to our sons and our daughters, we have 2 sons and 2 daughters, that you've got to see yourself as a person who can do. So I don't first and foremost see myself from a place of disadvantage. And I really believe when we go back to mindset, that's why a lot of people don't prosper. Because the first thing you're seeing yourself from, you're seeing yourself as disadvantaged. And the moment you see yourself as disadvantaged, you're already on the back foot. So come in and see yourself as a person who can do. Don't see the tone of your color first and foremost. See yourself as a person who has the capacity and the ability and is able to do whatever it is you set your mind on. So because of that, we've been able and careful and thoughtful about where we live, who we surround ourselves with, and the opportunities that we actually go out for. We always push ourselves to go for things that look like it's beyond the realm of possibility. And because of that, we've seen success time and time again. I don't know how many of you are entrepreneurs in the room. That's the mindset of an entrepreneur. You try things where people are saying that sector is flooded. If your heart is saying go, you go in anyway. Because our lives and our successes are not defined by other people's failure and trying. Go in and try for yourself. Don't not do something because someone tried and failed. Maybe they had the wrong method, they had the wrong strategy, they had the wrong team. So much factors into our successes. Some of the people who have been an integral part of our story and our growth and our network and our successes have been people who didn't even look like us and sound like us, who didn't have the same background. That's why I said when we do anything, I'm not coming off first of all and saying, oh, because I'm black, Because when I'm having the because I'm black mentality, I'm hanging around with all my black folk, I'm hanging around with all my Zimbabwean folk, and your world becomes smaller. But when you are looking at people and you see people and you don't allow bias to interfere with what God has laid up for your life, it opens a big, wide open space. Some of the people who've been so impactful in our lives, we have a great friend of ours. He's a Welshman. And he has helped to open so many doors for us. If I'd allowed the prejudice, if my husband had allowed the prejudice, those doors would not have opened. Another person has been a great friend of ours, John Doyle, an Irishman. One time we were trying to get into the health sector 23 years ago, and we couldn't get in. And it's through an alliance with someone like John that that door opened. I remember one time, my husband was in prayer, and he said he felt the Lord saying to him, you cannot prosper in a country that you despise and among a people that you dislike. And so as long as you're in the United Kingdom and you do not like the country and you do not even honor the people who've opened their doors and their borders from you, it is contra kingdom principle for you to then prosper and take. You become a marauder, you become a thief, because you have not come in to try and live, you just come to take. So may we begin to change our mindset. Mindset is so important. Sometimes that's the only thing that's holding you back from your successes. Those prejudices. A prejudice against skin tone, against color. That alone can become the difference maker between your breaking out, between your success, between your growth. I'm going to park somewhere here. The power of focus is the final thing. Please, entrepreneurs and young business people in the place, because I'm seeing a lot of young faces, younger faces than me, the power of focus and focusing on something until it works, and not trying to do too many things and ultimately accomplishing nothing. You've got to learn to focus. If you chase 5 rabbits, you're not going to catch anything. So if you're starting out in business and you're starting out in entrepreneurship and you want to be successful, figure out. Sometimes it's as simple as figuring out what the low-hanging fruit is. Sometimes it's as simple as figuring out what the income generator is, and then everything else flows out of there. Everything else becomes a tributary coming out of your original income generator. So you need to figure out what it is you're doing, focus on it, and work on it until it breaks through. Don't stop and start and stop and start and stop and start. If you do an honest analysis, if you've been trying to do business and the word is still trying 5, 10, 15, 25 years later, it's probably because of the focus. You're trying to do 5 things at the same time. Maybe the other things are 2 years, 5 years, 10-year things. So you need to stagger, but figure out what your cash cow is, your income generator is, your lower-hanging fruit, your door opener is, and then you build from there. Focus is so important. I'm going to end here. My 5 minutes are over. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
That was so powerful. Can you tell when somebody who has a lot of energy comes up? That was really beautiful to hear, and it's amazing to hear about your journey. I'm hoping all of the entrepreneurs are learning from these stories. Actually, we're all entrepreneurs in here, I hope you know, and we can all make a difference like we've been told. So I really hope all these stories and narratives that are coming out are not going in through one ear and going out through the other. I really hope they're staying in there and brewing something deep in each one of us. Now I'm going to call on our last speaker for today, and this will be another counselor who's joined us. So we have Councillor Adekunle Osibongu. I hope I've said that right. Osibongu. Okay, I am so sorry. I'm not actually Nigerian, but I try my best. I have a lot of Nigerian sisters, and yes. So if you can please come up. He is a councillor from Buckingham East. Thank you.
Well, you tried. I'm sure I'll be worse pronouncing your name. Thank you very much. I would like to thank, first of all, Sri Lanka for the invitation, and also I must recognize my aunt, Honorable Abika Dabiri. And I'm delighted to see quite a few familiar faces. Well, when I was told I was going to speak, because I'll come from another conference, and I thought, what's the best thing to take? And I will take giving back. And I'm taking that because I know a lot of us here are entrepreneurs, and most of us would have had a journey from Nigeria getting here. I know also that a lot of us will not have maybe memorable or favorable experience in Nigeria, hence why we're here. But we shouldn't also forget our roots. Why? Because a lot of us have left people back, be it family or friends, and who we all know are going through quite a lot right now. I know that Nigeria has its complications and has success stories, because I think all of us here can actually connect to a story which I believe we'll all be proud of and which we will tell our future generations. But those we've left behind, how can we give back to them? What can we do to make either the society they live in or the situations they are in much better? It's not necessarily by sending money, which I know a lot of you would have received a lot of requests for, considering the exchange rate right now is extremely favorable to those of us living here. But what we learn, how we develop being in the United Kingdom, how can we help our societies, be it in Zimbabwe or Nigeria, how can we help those societies improve? And I think I should also recognize my friend there as well, Mr. Wally Aboderi. How can we help them improve? It's important that we do not just sit on what we learn. We do not just acquire knowledge and wealth and keep it to ourselves here. Whatever we can do, be it mentorship, be it projects, be it charity. I know Honorable Abika Dabiri has done quite a lot of that and encourages a lot of people in diaspora to do that. She's a champion of that. So I would encourage us all here. You're either born into or you acquire. So whoever you can train into that, to lift that person out of poverty. There was something that was said earlier on, which I take note of. How do you build yourself up? Most times it's a mental thing. You're bound by the shackles of poverty, which not because of your situation, but because of your mental state. Now, the more people you can help out of that state, I'm sure we'll have a better country. When it comes to the United Kingdom, I've been privileged to be given quite a lot of opportunities here. Not because I deserve it, but because I tried to get things done. I tried to make myself available. I tried to give back to the communities I'm currently living in, and which is why I resonate with the last speaker. You can't come in like a thief in the night and try and take only. You must give back into that community. The more you do that, it's like, I don't want to go into scripture, but a giving hand receives more. The more you give, the more you get back. And that's what I would also want to encourage all of us here to do when it comes to Nigeria. I know that the country hasn't done quite a lot for a lot of us, right? We didn't get scholarships. I belong to that generation that we didn't have chicken in the cafeteria. Neither did we have scholarships or bursaries. But regardless, the generations ahead of us did, and they put us where we are today. So that little seed that was sown in 1960, 1950, 1940, that gave our parents the opportunity to put us where we are today, that was still a seed. So let us all adhere to that. Let us all, relate with that. And hopefully, let us all give back to the community we come from and the ones we are in right now. Thank you very much for your time.
It's all about giving back. Thank you so much. I won't try to butcher your name again this time. I already failed the first time. But that is the last of our speeches for today. I am going to let us just warm up a little. You will see a couple of papers have now been circulated on your tables. Now I want us to give them constructive feedback after how they could do better. Tell them, you know, if you actually want to partner with them. Now, before that, as the entrepreneurs come ready, I want us to play one short little game. Now, the DJ is going to play about 2 different songs. Now, what I want is the audience to tell us. It's going to be very, very short. Now, I want the audience, I'll pick at random, or you guys can actually raise your hand if you actually know and you really know the song. He's going to play 10 seconds of it, and I want to know how many people know way back Afro beats. Okay? So are we ready with the songs? Right. So here's the first one. That's it. Thank you. Right. Who knows that song?
No, not the song.
You know the singer? Okay. You know the song and the singer? Right, okay.
My name is Omola. The name of the singer is Inyaya, and the title of the song is Gekwa Uku.
Yes! Yes! That was Lekwa. Yes, yes. Can you please play the song now, DJ? This is actually one of my favorite songs. I grew up listening to this song.
From where? From where?
Oh yes, he's from. Iyanya is Nigerian, but I am Malawian, and I used to listen to Nigerian music all the time. If you can please play the song, it's literally one of my favorites. Yes. I hope the rest of you can now. Do you recognize it? Thank you for dancing. Okay, thank you. Can you play the next song now? Thank you.
We didn't answer the question though.
What was the question?
Something about the song.
We did.
Oh, we did. Oh, is it the same one?
Yes.
Sorry.
Oh, it's the same one. I just played a little longer. Right.
You haven't changed.
Okay, this one. I see people nodding. Honorable Dr. is loving the song. I hope she knows it. I see you dancing. Okay, thank you. Right, we have somebody who knows it very well. No, okay. Wow, that was a big no. Did you think you know the song?
Sonny Neji.
Okay. Can you please play the full song now? Thank you. You want to sing it? Can we have one more song, please? So I've taken note of the people who managed to get the songs correctly, and we will have awards and prizes, so you will get a prize for that. Now we have the very last song. Before the entrepreneurs come in, this is the very last song that you stand a chance to win a prize. Hey! I'm a piano lover. Where are we? Hey, when I enter the party, come on! Yes! Yes! I love her vibe. Yes! I think all eyes on me. When I enter the party, I get a prize. You will get a prize. Thank you. All eyes on her. Right. Okay. So now I'm going to call on the entrepreneurs to come. And and share with you the pitches. They have exactly 5 minutes to wow you guys. Now, I'm not voting. Thelma's not voting. You are all voting. So what you have there is a chance for you to write down the name of the entrepreneur that wowed you the most. And perhaps you can write down a few notes for yourself if you want as to what exactly they did to wow you. So can I please call on these 3 brave souls who are going to come and share with you their business ideas. So the first one I'm calling up here is Olufemi Adeleye. Can we give him a round of applause? Right, Olufemi, I will count down. You literally have only 5 minutes, right? So, are you ready?
Yes, I just need to put up the slide.
Okay, you need to put up the slides. Okay, I will call on a colleague to assist you with the slides. As he's sorting that out, I might be able to give away one last prize. Oh, actually, shame. No prizes needed. He's ready with his presentation. Okay, so I'm setting up my timer now, and you will have exactly 5 minutes, 00 now. Once it goes to 5 minutes, you have to stop, okay? So, when you're ready.
Good day, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adeleye Olufemi. I'm the founder of Prodigy Food Suit. You all are aware that there's a lot of challenges facing Africa, and Africa is part of all we usually refer to Africa as the underdeveloping country, and with schools, we've got numerous challenges facing them, and one of them is poor financial intelligence that faces school. And during the COVID pandemic, a lot of things went wrong with data and workflow fragmentation. And because of this, a lot of schools are shutting down. Some are being converted to hotel. And unfortunately, your child's school might be the next. And some of the schools we've all attended are already being converted to other forms of businesses. So it's a huge challenge. So innovatively, my team and I, we've solved these challenges by streamlining all the processes of the school, by creating an all-in-one solution for schools. And that makes sure that we empower schools, and they focus more on the administrative, financial, and academic problems that faces the school. And a lot of us, our parents wanted us to study chemical engineering or be a doctor like I was. But imagine having a statistics like this that shows in-depth analysis into your child's performance, and then you can pick out where exactly your child has a strong point. And then for schools, they are able to see breakdown of their finances, and they can cut down cost on where they shouldn't, spend money on. And then as parents, you can also track your child's school bus from wherever you are in the world, and that helps with security issues. And then with students, they are able to join classes hybrid in an hybrid format, and that's good. And empowering teachers through technology, and parents are well involved in their child's academic welfare now rather than before. Please, next slide. So the market size in Africa is huge. It's over $384 billion. And the preschool is one of the fast-growing space, which we are also well positioned to tap into that market. Please, next slide. So with Prodigy, you can own a school in the cloud. You can run and manage any physical school. Next slide, please. So with Prodigy, you are able to effectively manage any school and also accelerate the growth of any school whatsoever, from preschool down to K-12 or the tertiary institution. Next slide, please. So what makes us stand out is we are the only solution that supports schools with special needs children. We are also the only solution that has got flexible grading system across the world, and we also have online examination and invigilation together in the solution. Next slide, please. So we are making sure that schools in the underdeveloped countries have a cost-effective solution that streamlines all their processes, because we don't want to leave Africa behind, and then we have a situation whereby all the schools are shut down, converted to an hotel or other forms of businesses that make Africa go back to the old age. So our team is made up of educators, school owners, and engineers, with over 25 years of combined experience. Next slide, please. So we've got schools over across Nigeria, Ghana, and Burundi. So we are not just we've validated this process, so we know that it's something that's really working. Next slide, please. So we've grossed over $37,000 from quarterly subscription. Next slide, please. And without raising any capital or being in any debt whatsoever. Next slide, please. And the platform has processed so much transactions across different schools in over 3 African countries. Next slide, please. And what we are set to do is to make sure we're a one-stop shop for everything a school needs, and for all the underdeveloped countries. Next slide, please. So we're seeking £80,000 for 10% equity, and this will enable us to do 3 things: scale our engineering team, marketing, and customer acquisition, and also to get across to over 2,500 schools that are currently in the pipeline. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Olufemi. That was really, really nice. Prodigy, that was the name, right? Yes, okay, Prodigy. Right, so like I say, you will all be voting, and we now have the next pitch coming through. The next pitch that we have will be from Kayode. Kayode, if you're ready, please find me in the front to get the mic. Wow, Kayode, you have props with you. Wow, okay, this is going to be interesting. Right, I hope the props don't delay you because you still have 5 minutes.
Okay, sure.
Okay, great. So once you're ready.
Yes, this is an artwork. And if you want close to interact with it, okay.
Right. If we can dim the lights, please. Thank you. Right. Your 5 minutes start the moment you start talking.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kayode Oshomuga, and I'm representing Information Age Resources. Next slide, please. Just want to give a basic introduction to myself. I'm an engineer. I have 5 years working experience as project engineering. I did my master's in manufacturing systems from Cranfield University, just over here. And even in Cranfield, I started working with John Pastevelas for horizontal innovation think tank. When we're trying to give out drones, use drones to aid farming. So with that experience, I also tried to start up my own innovation hub called information age resources, where I'm using technology for betterment of life. That's the concept. And so for our first rollout product, we collaborated with a Serbian-based Nigerian artist named Daniel Pengrapher. So he creates figurines such as this. This is the Power figurine. It's a collectible artwork. This is my own collection. It's one of one. Basically, I bought this for £200. Yeah, it's a collectible. Please, next slide. So, our problem at Information Age Resources, collaborating with pen pals, is that we realize that innovation, when designing innovation, cutting-edge innovation, they don't think about people of our skin color in mind. Take for example, the board system right now is AI voice interaction. And AI voice interaction, a lot of it, the output is usually accented in British accent, US accent, but none is, the availability for African accents in these things are not as common. Take for example, and that gives a sense of awkwardness in user interface, user experience for Africans in general, and that not just Africans, the diaspora, the minority community, and that is what we're trying to solve. And we also saw that the designs for speakers, conventional speakers, are usually just rectangular and quite boring. And because of that, this is what formed our collaboration with Pen Pals, with Pengrapher. And next slide, please. So that is what our product is. Our product is a smart speaker. So what we have right now is the collectible. I want to transform this collectible to a smart speaker. And the difference, our unique selling points, what differentiates us from other smart speakers is, first of all, this is a unique design. There's no one in the market as at now that has designs for speakers like this. Nowhere. Not Bluetooth speakers, not any speakers. Most speakers, even the biggest ones, the Beats Pills, they're quite conventional. So our unique selling point is, first of all, it has a unique shape. Power speaker has a unique shape. Then the second USP is that the conversational style for our speakers, for our AI model, is more conversational and it's more interactive, unlike Amazon, which is more skill-based. And then the third is that we're trying to, in our AI software, we're trying to also put in recommendation softwares, recommendation features that's going to help our commercialization. And then the main thing is that we're also trying to make it more inclusive. If we want Nigeria or Africa to develop, nobody's going to help us. We need to develop it ourselves. And that is what Information Aid products, Information Aid resources, with the help of PALS, is trying to do. We are trying to develop technology for ourselves, for Africans. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Coyote. Can we please give him a good round of applause, everyone? It's really hard to be here speaking about your whole bread and butter in 5 minutes and trying to get someone to believe you. So thank you to our two first entrepreneurs. And now we'll have Mohammed Jega come up, and he is our final entrepreneur for the day. Are you ready? Right. Okay. So I'm going to restart the timer. You will see me restarting it. It's back on 0. I will give you the microphone. I will come closer to you when the time is about to finish, as I've done with everybody else.
That's fine.
Yeah. So once you start speaking, I start the time.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm a senior tech entrepreneur who has an experience, over 20 years experience in digital transformation and business development. I'm here to present JAPA. This word it's a slang from Japa. When people hear Japa, you know that you're living far to the going up. So we try to create something to for Africans, for us by us, to be able to change the narrative, to bring together everyone that we can be able to utilize. Job App is pioneering that solution for you to design tech-savvy Africans that are doing businesses and build a community around it, whereby we can be able to build a narrative where people can be able to exchange services and be able to leverage on that, communicate with each other, and be able to export change like goods and services, and as well as also do interaction and also interaction. Next slide, please. We know that there's a serious challenge to Africans when they move into the UK: lack of trust, lack of orientation, lack of understanding, lack of getting trusted specific goods and services that you can be able to know. Where is that point? Everyone is sending different things in different hubs. Social media, some are sending things on WhatsApp, some are sending things on Facebook, and some are on different sites. So we intend to aggregate all these services together under one platform. And people that migrate as well from anywhere you are in Africa, if you come in here, you can be able to utilize our platform and be able to look for that product they sell. Our unique selling point is that we're going to have an Afrocentric language where you can be able to use different languages in terms of section for goods and services. And also from the one-stop shop, you can also learn skills. So many people come in and say, oh, I'm a doctor, I only learn BA job. People are teaching them BA job or WhatsApp or whatever. So this is going to be whereby you can be able to do that. You can be able to shop, you can be able to also choose for courses. Next slide, please. So I'll keep that possibly of our key features where we have shopping carts, we have a blog, we have a community where people can be able to communicate and ask questions when you come around. If you want to have reliable services, like a legal advisor that you know that is an African, a British person that can be able to answer your questions, a doctor, a tailor, different things you want, you can be able to get that from that platform. And if you want courses and also programs like that, next slide please. Our profitability is about, we tend to onboard for free and we'll get commission from that, and also commission from the payment companies, which are partners as well as for logistics companies. A lot of people bring in things and services from different parts of Africa, but they don't get reliable community utilized. Next slide, please. Our development cost is around 500K because we have put on a beta version of the products, and this is actually going to change the narrative in the entire scope of e-commerce and services together to have that. There's nothing like this happening everywhere now. And this is going to serve that major platform that is going to drive economic and trade within that partner. Even Nido and everybody is going to aggregate and use this platform to build that. Next slide, please. Our teams combine experience of over 40 years experience, people who have built e-commerce and also built services together, and myself, who has been a project manager and digital transformation expert, work with different governments, and possibly I've been in this country based on my experience as a digital expert and exceptional talent by the UK government, and this has really opened my mind towards understanding pinpoints of problems Africans face in the UK. So we've combined, we have a hub, and we have over 2,000 Africans that have migrated who are exceptional talents, but we have this challenge of understanding where do we get this from, and Job App is the solution. Next slide, please. Thank you so much for having me.
Managed to do it in less than 5 minutes. Wow. So those were all of our entrepreneurs. I'm going to allow you guys to digest all that we heard. I know it's going to be difficult because all of them were amazing. We're all winners here. We're all entrepreneurs, and we're all unique in our very own ways. Now, we're at my most favorite time of any event, which is food. As we're doing this, please remember that you have to vote, because what's happening is we're coming to collect all your different votes, and after dinner, we're going to award these entrepreneurs a prize for the one that you guys have voted. So it's people's choice, okay? Just one entrepreneur is going to win this prize. So please ensure that on your papers, you're either choosing between Olufemi, who was the first one, Kayode, who was the second one, and Mohammed, who was the last entrepreneur that just presented. Okay, so please make sure that you write down your most favorite entrepreneur or pitch, not entrepreneur, but more of the pitch. Okay, so like I say, my favorite time, there is food waiting and ready for us outside. During this time, we'd like you to go outside, get some food, and then come back in here, because the event is not quite done, right? we're going to go in an orderly fashion. So I'm going to ask the first tables in the front row here. I will start with this table to go in and collect the food. So if you can please go on and collect the food, followed by this next table.
Ushers will direct you.
No, you need to stand close to us. Which one do you represent? Which one do you represent? Choose that one.
We're going to take one. No, please, go again. Thank you so much.
So I'm as exhausted as I come because I have fried rice and then
Why are you looking at my food?
2 years. Okay. So yeah, I was back there.
Look at that. Amazing, isn't it? Flawless. Our style uniquely flatters the feminine silhouette, as you can see. Look at those beautiful colors coming in. In addition to clothing, she produces fashion accessories like bags, footwear, and local African fabrics. I just love the colors. The Nikki Biwanti brand is an electric mix of occasion, street, and casual wear. And she's debuting a fun, colorful water-winter collection at this event. Look at that cardigan. Simply amazing. I wear that any day. Look at that African men's attire that I talked about. Do you see it? Can you picture yourself in that? I can. Yes, rock it. Love to see the colors. Oh, it has pockets. Thank you for showing us. Oh, a hoodie. We're beating the rain this winter. We're going to be fashionable. Do you see how the colors just complement our current weather? Right. So that was the first round of the fashion show. The models are going to go and change, but now, oh, okay, they're ready. So, sorry, carry on with the music. The models are ready to show us. Wow! Look at those pants. So she will be having an exhibition next week, Saturday, November 30th, at River Valley white horse, Dr. Emerson Valley, MK42AS. This will be from 12 noon to 6 p.m. So you can go visit her stand to get all your lovely outfits and accessories and early Christmas presents. Oh, I love that skirt. Oh my gosh, rocking it. Can you see those bright, vibrant colors that we're talking about? The name is Nikki Biwati. That is the brand name, Nikki Biwati. Oh my gosh, orange? Yes, please. I love fashion. You are rocking it, girl. Thank you. Oh my gosh, what is this? That is amazing. My favorite color is red, and that would suit me perfect. Oh wow, zip. Oh wow. Okay. This model did not come to play. Nikki Biwati. And there is the lady herself, Acclerator. I'll give her the mic to just say a couple of words about her rap.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I love fashion. I love dressing up. I've been doing that since I was very small. And I love contemporary designs, and I love African fabrics. So I'm just living out my dream: bold, bright, beautiful colors, and making contemporary designs, but using African fabrics. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Pelma. Thank you for the team. This has been awesome for me. Thank you. Thank you.
Can you please give a louder? Let's cheer for this. This was amazing. Thanks to the model. Yeah. Do you want to say? Right. Adenike, if you can come back, please. We'd like to know if you have a website. People are interested.
Okay, so you can reach me on Instagram, Nikki_Biwati, and then I have my number as well. It's still an online business for now, but when we grow bigger, then I'll have a permanent location. So I'll hand out my numbers. I have a few items in case you're interested when the event finishes. Thank you.
Right now her pitch is finished. Okay. So now we'll be wrapping up the event with what we decided to do, which was the prizes. And we all love prizes. So there are a couple of prizes. We do remember that we had the entrepreneurs, we had the quizzes. Thank you to all the trivia people that came in. And Thelma will gladly give feedback to all the entrepreneurs.
Okay, did you enjoy that? Is it the food? Did you enjoy that? Yes. Now it's time for the winning pitch for the Africa Business Ball 2024. And you voted. And if you didn't get to vote, well, that's what always happens. You have to go with the flow. So I'm going to say, the numbers, they had ticks for me, so I'll do that. Can the entrepreneurs please join me here? I see them eating, but maybe you can leave your food for 1 minute. Okay. Even if you didn't win, there are some things that have also happened. Okay, can we turn? Thank you. Even if you didn't win today, I can already hear people saying they want to invest in different businesses. So I'm sure people will talk to you on the side. I won't give it away. This is not about winning. This is to encourage you. And this is also for everyone to know the type of businesses that are going to be in the accelerator. And the reason we have to have the accelerator, I think one of the things you'll see from all the pitches is that there are a lot of rough edges that need to be smoothened. And that's why you come to an accelerator. We chose these ones because these businesses are for our community. And so I'll start with number 1, Prodigy got 12 votes. Please clap for Prodigy. Pals got 7 votes. Please clap for Pals. Japa got 7 votes. Please clap for Japa. So the winner of the African Business Ball 2024 is Femi Protege Solution. And Femi, we didn't tell them that there will be a prize, but one of our partners, we've signed an agreement with a US investor who you know, InnoPower. And InnoPower has given the prize for the first African Business Ball of £2,000 to you. And you want to say a few words?
I'm speechless. But this would definitely go a long way and to make every African in here proud of what we would do with that money to give back to our African community back home. Thank you so much.
I know that there are people that have come to whisper to me they want to invest in JAPAP, and Honorable Abike Dabe says she wants to work with JAPAP, so before she leaves, make sure you go and seal that deal. But I think that being an entrepreneur myself, it's extremely difficult to do this. I don't believe that applause was enough for them. Can we really these are the people that will be in the Proof Accelerator, and please have your seats. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to also announce from this African Business Ball, we're going to start something called Africa Angels attached to Proof Accelerator. I can't see Dimeji, my colleague. I'm sure he's finally resting. He's supposed to beam the thing up, but that's fine. Okay, he was still £1,000. And at the end of each accelerator, we will be able to give the grant. Please clap for us. But let me invite Dimeji to say the closing remarks. There's so many people to thank in this room. On behalf of myself, can I call Ngozi and Emmanuel here, our board members and co-founders. It means a lot to us that you've, I don't see Emmanuel too, okay. I think they're eating and I haven't eaten, okay. These are the people incredible people that I work with. And I want to also use this opportunity to thank my husband. Please clap for Mr. Sholake. If you are running a startup, you are very annoying to your family members because all you do is work. So please, and Mr. Sholake did all the drinks in this place. So as you drink, just say, God bless Mr. Sholake. But let me allow Ladi say a few words as we all stand.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, Chairperson Thelma, for putting up a spectacular event. We thank you so much for coming, for making time on a Saturday. You know, in the UK, we're always resting on a Saturday. So we thank you so much for coming. I want to appreciate Ma, thank you so much. Honorable Abike Dabiri. Thank you so much for coming all the way from Nigeria. I want to appreciate you because you are always supporting us in the diaspora. You're a politician, or you know, there's okay, maybe you are former. Oh, you belong to a political class, but I know there's one song they used to sing in back home. They say "Ma Julo Mwen," you know, but when you look back for politicians, you won't see anybody there. But when we look back in the diaspora, we see you, and we want to thank you very much for that. I also want to thank our councillors that are here. Thank you so much for coming. My counselor and we went to Buckingham together. I think you studied law as well. Yes. And I've been following your rise. You know, we're so proud of you. So proud of you. Even if you are a conservative, it doesn't matter. We're still proud of you. We forgive you. We hope one day, you know. Sorry? Well, yes. No, not see the light. We want him in the Conservative. We need people like him in the Conservative Party. We have Kemi in Labour, so we have him in Conservative. We hope one day, you know, you be our PM one day. Yes. You know, they're already looking PM, and I'm looking your Attorney General. You know, so I'm pitching now. But thank you so much. The other councillors say I can't. Yes, Ma, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you. We thank you so much. But everybody here is a special. You know, you are all VIPs. We thank you so much. Ngozi, Emmanuel, thank you very much. Thanks a lot for coming. We appreciate you all. Thank you.
A group of people that would never want us to thank them, but I need you to let them come in. If we can get Lolade and our volunteers. Yeah. These are Africans who are doing PhDs, masters. They could say it's beyond them to come and stand here and serve and all of that, but they're doing it because they believe in the work. And I always believe that the people behind the scenes should be acknowledged. Yes. So please, there's no Oga here. Here, these are the real Ogas, because while we were living our lives, they were making sure this worked. Can you give Lolade a round of applause? Lolade has a master's in international relations, and she said, I just want to work. I just want to work. Okay, they're still coming. I want them to know you. Coming, Udo. Udo is doing her PhD at Cranfield. She's about to do her Viva, but Udo made the delicious pop-up. Please come. These are the Africans we're talking about. Come. Udo left her work to look for the venue when the other venue abandoned us. Monica is doing her PhD as well. Please give her. Dabri, you know I'm going to call you. Please come. Dabri is a successful, glamorous pharmacist. Please give that. And by the way, I'm looking for husbands for all of them. Aside from Monica and Lolade, please, everybody should see me. Don't go and talk to them, come to me first. Ladies, can we give them a round of applause? And gentlemen. And now we dance. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
If you haven't finished exchanging numbers, you do so now, but within the next... there's a barcode that's in circulating. Share you that the barcode here. I can give you